I couldn't sit down. That's the honest truth. I did a leg session on the Monday, brutal, all lengthened position stuff, and by Wednesday I was lowering myself onto the toilet with both hands on the door frame like a man being winched into a lifeboat.
And you were proud of it.
I was thrilled. I texted the group chat. And that's the whole problem, isn't it? I felt like the session had done its job because I couldn't walk downstairs.
Which is precisely backwards. And I am going to spend the next 15 minutes gently dismantling your entire emotional relationship with pain.
This is his favorite kind of morning.
I'm Maya Brooks. I coach people for a living, and apparently I'm today's cautionary tale.
Oliver Hart. I read the studies so you don't have to feel things.
Dio Sanders. I've been lifting since before either of you could spell hypertrophy, and I've been sore roughly 400,000 times, so let's find out if any of it mattered.
So let's name the thing first. Delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, is the ache that shows up not right after training, but 12, 24, up to about 72 hours later. Peaks around day 2. And the folk explanation you grew up with?
Lactic acid. Burning off the lactic acid the next day.
Is wrong, and has been known to be wrong for decades. Lactate is cleared within roughly an hour of you stopping. It's long gone by the time you're clinging to the doorframe.
I was told to walk it off, to flush the acid out. Every gym in the 80s.
Whole generation of coaches confidently flushing a thing that wasn't there. What DOMS actually reflects, best current understanding, is microscopic mechanical damage to the muscle fibers and the connective tissue, and then an inflammatory and immune response to that damage. There's also a strong nervous system component. The tissue gets sensitized, so a normal stretch or press suddenly reads as pain.
And it's the lengthening part that does it, the eccentric.
Overwhelmingly. If you take someone and have them only lower a weight, no lifting, versus only lifting, the lowering group is wrecked for days and the lifting group is fine. That's been replicated many times, so soreness is basically a signature of unfamiliar lengthening under load.
Which is why the first day of anything hurts.
That's the key word, unfamiliar. The single biggest predictor of how sore you'll be isn't how hard the session was, it's how new it was.
Okay, but this is where I push back a little because as a coach I use that. New client, first month, they're going to be sore no matter what, and honestly that soreness sells them on the program. They feel it. They believe it.
And there's the incentive I always want to poke at. Who benefits from you believing soreness equals results? The trainer whose client feels productive. The boutique studio charging $34 a class that leaves you limping?
The supplement selling you the recovery powder for the damage you paid to create.
Exactly. The whole no pain, no gain economy runs on conflating sensation with progress. And the cleanest demonstration that it's a con is what physiologists call the repeated bout effect.
Say what that is for people.
You do a brutal new session, you're destroyed. You do the identical session 2 weeks later, same weight, same volume, and you're barely sore at all. Your muscle adapted, it's now more resistant to that damage. So here's the trap. You got fitter, stronger, better adapted, and the reward for that adaptation is you feel less. The soreness goes down as the training gets more effective.
So the beginner who's crippled is getting the same or less benefit than the veteran who feels nothing.
Frequently, yes. The person whipping on the stairs may simply be the least adapted person in the room.
That's genuinely humbling. I've been bragging about being the least adapted.
Here's what I want though, before Oliver gets too pleased with himself. If soreness doesn't tell me the workout worked, does the absence of soreness tell me it didn't?
No. Also, no. And that's the second half people miss. You can build muscle and get dramatically stronger with almost no soreness at all, once you're past the novelty. Bodybuilders training a body part multiple times a week are often not sore. They've adapted, and they're the ones growing.
This is the thing I have to talk clients down from constantly. Week 6, 7, the soreness fades, and they panic. It's not working anymore. The program's stale. I need something harder. No, you got fit. That's what fit feels like.
The soreness was the tax on being a beginner, not the receipt for the work.
Oh, I'm stealing that.
And you can flip it entirely. You can make someone catastrophically sore with a session that builds almost nothing. Go do 100 slow lengthening reps of something you never do, some novel movement, huge damage, colossal soreness.
And no meaningful strength stimulus.
Right, because the mechanical tension and the effort near your true limits, that's the thing that actually drives adaptation, and you can generate plenty of soreness without it. So the two things, soreness and stimulus, they overlap in beginners and then they come apart. They are not the same variable.
So then the question everyone actually cares about, how do I make it stop? Because I've got clients who won't train legs Thursday because they're still sore from Tuesday.
Right, and this is where I get to be unpopular. The recovery industry is enormous. Foam rollers, percussion guns, compression boots, the cryotherapy chambers at, what, $60-70 a session?
I stood in one, full of regret and liquid nitrogen fumes.
And the honest reading of the evidence on most of it for actually resolving muscle damage is small, short-lived, largely about how you feel rather than how recovered the tissue is. Foam rolling and massage do seem to genuinely reduce the perception of soreness for a while. Whether they speed the underlying repair, much weaker.
But I'll defend the perception effect a bit. If a client feels less sore, they show up to the next session, they move better, they're not scared. That has real value even if the tissue doesn't care.
That's fair, and I'd rather someone roll their quads than skip a workout in fear. My objection is the pricing and the promise. A tennis ball does most of what a $400 percussion gun does.
The cold stuff worries me more though. Didn't the ice bath research take a turn?
It did, and this is the genuinely fresh bit. There's a reasonable body of work now. Some of the well-known work came out of Australia around the middle of the last decade, suggesting that regularly plunging into cold water right after strength training can blunt the muscle-building adaptation over time. The inflammation you're trying to ice away is part of the signal that tells the muscle to grow.
So you're icing the messenger.
You're icing the messenger? Yes. So if your goal is hypertrophy, dunking yourself in ice immediately post-session may be actively counterproductive. If you just want to feel better for a game tomorrow, different story.
See, that's the part that gets lost. The same tool is good or bad depending on what you actually want, and nobody asks you what you want. They just sell you the boots.
All right, so give me the practical version. Client sore, what do I tell them that's honest?
The most reliable thing for making sore muscles feel better is, irritatingly, moving them. Light activity, blood flow, easy reps of the same movement at low load, not more damage. Just gentle use.
The old walk it off was half right for the wrong reason.
Beautifully put, right instinct, invented physiology. Sleep matters, genuinely, that's where a lot of repair happens. Adequate protein, adequate calories, and time. The unglamorous answer is time. Most soreness is gone in 3 to 5 days, whatever you do.
And the thing I'll add from the floor, you can train around it. Sore hamstrings doesn't mean don't train. Train your back, train your push, let the hamstrings ride the bike easy. Soreness is not a red light, it's a yellow one.
When is it a red light though? Because they're sore and there's something's wrong.
Crucial distinction. Sharp, localized joint line pain. That's not DOMS. And the rare serious one, if soreness after unaccustomed brutal exercise comes with swelling that won't quit, dark tea-colored urine, feeling genuinely ill, that can be rhabdomyolysis, muscle breakdown products overwhelming the kidneys. That's an emergency, not a badge of honor.
And those cases pop up exactly when someone does a huge novel session for the first time. First boot camp. First spin class going all out.
The novelty trap with the volume dial turned to catastrophe. Rare but real. Diffuse muscle ache, normal. Sick and swollen and dark urine, hospital.
Okay, you've taken away my favorite feeling. If the ache is a liar, what do I actually watch?
The boring true things. Are you lifting more weight or more reps at the same weight? Over weeks. Progressive overload. That's the single most validated driver of strength and size we have. The number on the bar going up over a training block?
That's the one I live on. I log everything. If in 6 weeks the working weight has moved and the reps have moved, it worked. I don't care if they were ever sore.
And it's slower than people want. That's the real story of my whole athletic life. The guys who are still around at 50 aren't the ones who chase the hardest session every day. They're the ones who showed up Tuesday after Tuesday for 20 years and let it add up.
The evidence backs the old man, annoyingly. Consistency and total accumulated work over time swamp any single heroic session. The optimal program you do 60% of the time loses to the decent program you actually do.
Can I give the other signals I use? Because the bar goes up is slow feedback. In session, I look at bar speed. Is a given weight moving faster than it did a month ago? Recovery between sets, whether they hit their rep targets. And honestly, energy, are they walking in wanting to train or dreading it?
That last one's underrated. If you're never sore but always dreading the gym, something's off. And if you're sore all the time,
you may just be constantly changing the program, which feels productive and often isn't. The person doing a new muscle confusion routine every fortnight is manufacturing soreness by never letting an adaptation happen. Novelty for its own sake.
Muscle confusion. The muscle's not confused, the lifter is.
I'm putting that on a shirt next to Maya's tax receipt line.
Can I name the uncomfortable thing though? A lot of the soreness chasing isn't about physiology at all. It's about permission. You feel like you're allowed to eat, allowed to rest, allowed to feel you earned something, and the ache is the proof.
Yeah, that's me on the toilet on Wednesday, if we're honest. It wasn't about my quads growing, it was, I did something hard, I have evidence.
There's a whole moral thing baked into it. Pain as virtue. No pain, no gain isn't a training principle. It's a leftover bit of Puritanism with a barbell.
That's the most British thing you've ever said, and you're American.
I contain multitudes.
But it matters for coaching, right? Because if I take away someone's soreness and don't replace the feeling with something, they feel cheated. So I give them the logbook. The number going up becomes the new proof. The dopamine moves from the ache to the data.
That's genuinely good practice. You're substituting a valid signal for an invalid one that felt the same emotionally.
And it lasts longer. The soreness fades in a week. A training log going up for 2 years. That's a story you can actually stand inside.
So let me try to land this for the person driving to the gym right now. Soreness the next day mostly means you did something new, not something good. Fades as you get fitter, and that's supposed to happen.
No soreness doesn't mean it failed. Adapted muscle grows quietly. And plenty of soreness with no real load doesn't mean it worked. The two came apart the moment you stopped being a beginner.
Don't ice yourself into a bucket immediately after if you're chasing muscle. Move gently when you're sore. Sleep, eat, wait it out. And know the difference between an ache and dark urine. One's Tuesday, one's the hospital.
And watch the bar, not the ache. Weight up, reps up over weeks. That's the receipt.
And show up again. That's the whole trick. It was always the whole trick.
The unsatisfying truth we can't sell you a percussion gun for.
Next week, we're doing fasted cardio, and I already know Oliver's going to ruin something else I love.
I have a folder. It's a big folder.
Go easy on the stairs, Maya.
I'm taking the lift. This has been strong evidence. Go be consistent and be suspicious of anything that hurts too proudly. This episode was generated with AI by Demades.